Good morning, everybody. It is very, very exciting to be on this webinar. I'm just waiting for a few more people to join us, which will be fabulous. We're going to talk today about what will create the best oil in your body, or what will be the best oil in your body, how to discern what is a good oil, what are the things you need to look out for on labeling, how you can trust labeling, and how to get the best information. So thank you, Lime Bay ladies, for joining us today. I know that we're all very, very busy, and but health is everything. If you don't have your health, you have nothing in life. And so I would like to show you how to get the very best out of your health and how to be discerning about the oils that you put in your body. So without further ado, I'm going to launch into this. So I would like to explain to you why we cannot trust the most popular brands of oil. I want to show you what the current market situation is. I want to help you to select a really good quality oil that's going to give you everything that you want for your health. And I want to explain to you about an oil that I have recently found that stands out above all of the others. It has no competition because of the latest research that is available. So by the end of this, I hope you're going to be more informed. You will be a more discerning consumer. I hope you'll have the knowledge to know whether a product is excellent or not, and you'll know what to look for. And you'll know how to look at a product description and know exactly whether what you've got is worth the money that you are spending. So who am I? Well, I've been a holistic practitioner for nearly 25 years. I tackle health from very much a holistic perspective. I want to look at what is the root cause of a problem. My background is very much general health, and then I've done an awful lot of work with autism and mitochondrial health. But the root of all illness comes from a lack of mitochondria. It comes from inflammation in the body, and from that we spiral down into all sorts of labels. I am loyal to whatever makes things change. I am loyal to whatever makes things work. I like to be ahead of the curve. I want the latest research. And that is why I'm very, very excited to be sharing this information to you, because it is groundbreaking. And I hope it's going to change many of your lives too. So why should we care about the fish oil supplement that we're using? Increasingly, because of the new research that's out there, hardened doctors who wouldn't be interested in natural things are now coming on board and going, actually, this is really, really important. We need to pay attention to this. And dietitians in sort of the NHS and places like that are now recommending supplements and oils. There is so much more research out there to support all of the health benefits out there. You can't argue with it. And particularly when that published research is supporting that it can change brain function, heart, immune function, your bone functions, you really cannot get away from this. And everybody wants to have good metabolic health, good vascular health, and good muscular health. It is our well-being. It is the way we live. And without that, we have nothing. Now, there is a global market out there in omega-3s of 1,905 million US dollars. Why should we care about this figure? Well, it's an incredibly lucrative market with all of the research that's coming out. There's a lot of people who want a bit of the action, and therefore they are not as scrupulous about the way they get a piece of the action, and perhaps the products that they are producing are not so good. And I want to protect you so that you can get a premium product and you can be safeguarding your family and the health of yourself. The forecast for this market is 2,844 million people going to be on this by 2027. That is a growth rate of 5.7.9%. That is massive. So you can see not everybody is going to be producing a great product. And I want you to be in the driving seat, showing that you know exactly what you're talking about. And this is what today is about. There are a lot of very mixed quality products out there. People are actually selling a load of rubbish. I want you to be able to discern that. Not people are not getting the health benefits that they think they should be getting, that is claimed on the label. And in some instances, you may be paying for things that are going to be hazardous to your health, which quite frankly is utterly appalling. There are a lot of false claims out there. And this, I'm going to go through some of the research on this. Over 75% of the supplements tested in this study found that they did not contain the stated amount of EPA and DHA on the label. I mean, that is absolutely appalling. They may have had a vague fish oil amount, but the actual EPA and DHA levels were very, very low indeed. And this means that a large amount of money that you are paying is actually not going towards benefiting you in any way at all. And if you probe into the labels a little deeper, you're going to be finding that your nutritional value from here is next to nothing. And that's very, very sad. There's a lot of ambiguity about the source of where the fish come from. And again, this is super, super important. Some brands don't tell you what sort of fish they are using. You don't know where the fish are coming from. And some use a lot of predator fish. Now, why should you worry about that? Well, predator fish are eating the smaller fish, and over time, they're going to be taking on the toxic load. So they're going to be full of contaminants. Bigger fish have much higher amounts of mercury. And this is in time going to be passed to you. So if you're using an oil that comes from predator fish, you're going to be taking on or having the possibility of the contaminants and heavy metals being passed into your own body, particularly if the processing has not been done correctly. You want to have an oil that uses many different types of fish. If you have just only one type of fish, then you are getting a lot more concentrated amounts of the same contaminants. Apart from the fact it's unsustainable. We want a world where we have lots of lovely varieties of fish, and if we keep fishing one source, it is not sustainable, nor is it ecological. And we are all in for saving the planet at the moment, and for the future, let's hope. Then we have cheap quality. A lot of people, manufacturers, you know, they want a big market share, and therefore they will use an oil that is not stable. They will use an oil that is cheaper and therefore has a lot less bioavailability. And by that, I mean how easily your body absorbs the nutrients, which means if you're paying for a lesser product, you're paying a premium price, but you're not actually putting anything into your body that is going to be giving you any benefit. There's something else you need to look out for, and that is ethyl esters. And these are an inferior form of oil. And this is because there's an important part of the processing procedure that has been missed out. And it means that it avoids you having the availability of the triglycerides, which is what your body actually can take on board. And if this is missing out, then you're taking something that is not bioavailable, and you're basically throwing money down the drain. Some companies will actually put ethyl esters on the label, but there's something here I want you to look out for. And the clue here is marine oil concentrate. If you see that on a label, I would give it a very wide berth, or certainly dig a lot deeper into what form of lipids they are using in the product. Even worse, some brands will even use fish that have been exposed to GMO. If you're buying a health product, you're doing so because you want to promote the health of yourself and that of your family, and having something that's got GMO in it is not a good idea and best avoided at all costs. The stability of your products is incredibly important, and various studies have been done on how rancid and oxidized products are. There's one study found that a quarter of the samples that they tested had high levels of oxidized lipids in it. Another study found that 80% or more of the 35 fish oils they tested from New Zealand had very high levels of oxidized lipids. And there's another one here that found 50% of the Canadian fish oils, again, had huge amounts of lipids in it. I mean, this is shocking. So it means that the fish oils you're taking to make you feel vibrant and look younger and give you all the health benefits are absolutely giving you none of that, and probably some very unhelpful side effects. What was even more shocking was that children's formulas were found to contain the highest amount of oxidized lipids. And these are the, you know, our children, we want to be protecting them at all costs. More instability facts. They took 171 brands. They looked at them and they found that 50% of them exceeded the recommended oxidation markers in this test. And what is even more shocking than ever is that the children's products that they tested in here had significantly higher primary and secondary totox levels than other products. And by totox levels, we're talking about the total levels of oxidation. I mean, this is just absolutely shocking. So you might have bright and shiny labels, but when you actually look behind it, and as these published studies show, you need to be very discerning and do your research. Fillers is another thing that you need to be very aware of. In this study, they took 3 of the top UK best-selling brands of fish oil, and I'm not going to mention the names, they're household brands, you'll all know of them, and they found that they contained 35% saturated fat. Now, you might be taking a fish oil because you want to lower your cholesterol levels, but if you're taking something that's 1/3 saturated fat, then it's really not helpful. The other thing on your label you need to look out for is omega-3, 6, and 9. A lot of companies are going to try and bulk out their products so that it's cheaper, but you are not getting the bang for your buck that you want. Why on earth would you be taking a product that has omega-6 in it? We have way too much omega-6 in our diets. It's very pro-inflammatory. We're getting it from foods, from vegetable oils, from plant oils. You absolutely do not need to be adding it into your food. This is a way for the manufacturers to give you less of the valuable stuff, which is the omega-3s and the omega-9s. They bulk it out with omega-6. You pay a lot of money and you are not getting the wonderful health benefits that you want. So super important to look out for that one. Then, of course, we have the lack of transparency. Some brands don't provide a brand certificate of analysis. This is super important. You want to know the processing. You want to know exactly what's in your product. It will tell you the amounts of EPA and DHA, super, super important. You want to know the levels of oxidation, the peroxide value. The peroxide value is how fresh is your product. You don't want something that was harvested 2 years ago and has been hanging around in a barrel in the corner and suddenly been made up. You want to know it's a really fresh product. You want to know whether it's been screened for heavy metals, whether it's been sourced from large predator fish, and you want to make sure that it has been screened for potential pathogens such as salmonella and mold. So, how do you select a good fish oil supplement? Well, you have to remember the 3 or 5 Ps. Place, where has the fish come from? The processing plant, what's it gone through? The purity, the potency, that you're getting the right amount of EPA and DHA, and the packaging to protect it from going rancid and oxidized, which can happen very, very quickly and very, very easily. So we're going to go through these 5 things. The place, the origin of the fish. Does it come from a polluted ocean? Is it an area that's non-polluted? Are there industrial plants where they've been fishing? All of these things are really, really important. You want to know whether it's been an overfishing area. You want to know your oil is coming from really, really healthy fish. And the healthier the fish, the more vibrant and the better the quality of the oil. If you think about the risotto rule, I'm sure there's a lot of you lovely ladies out there who love making risotto. And as all good chefs know, the best oil is what you, the best, should we say, wine is what you need for risotto. The most fabulous wine will make the most fabulous risotto. So if you've got wonderful ingredients and you've got wonderful healthy fish, then you know that the quality of the oil that you're going to get is going to add to your own health and vibrancy. And if the fish are really healthy, there's a reliable source, there's a long-term supply, and the impact on the environment is less, and therefore it's going to be better for your children. If it's being fished in a really healthy, non-polluted area, there'll be a lot more diversity of fish, which means you have a lot less concentrated contaminants, and the world is a better place, not only for our health, but for the fish as well. These are the labels that you want to look out for on your products. These are trusted labels where there is a lot of research to make sure the standards and quality are maintained. You have Friend of the Sea, you have the MSC, which is the Marine Steward Council, and you have the GOED, which is the Global Organization for EPA and DHA. Now, all of these are always checking that the people who are members of these organizations are doing their processing correctly. They do spot checks, and they are very, very trusted. So do not ever buy an oil unless it is got one of these labels or several of these labels on it. So there's a very wonderful man called Gerald Hubold, who was a scientist at the German von Thunen Institute of Agriculture, Trade Policy and World Nutrition. He was also the former secretary of the International Council of Exploration of the Sea. And he was quoted in saying that fish stocks targeted by MSC certified fisheries were in general more abundant and harvested less intensively than those targeted by non-certified fisheries. So by here again showing that members of these organizations are going to produce far better quality oils for your health. Why have I got a picture of the Southeast Pacific Ocean floor? It's super, super important. Why should we care? We should care a lot. The fish here looks super healthy. There's no rubbish on the seabed. There's no plastic milk cartons hanging in the seaweed. And this is really important because the website of Lycee, which is the production plant of my preferred oil, which is Enzino Balance Oil, this is where their fish are sourced from. And I'm sure you would prefer to know that the source of your oil comes from a place like this, rather than, you know, an area that is industrialized and close to the shore and lots of nasty things being chucked into the water. So the Fishing and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations, they have an area called Area 57, which is the Nasdaq I can never pronounce this, I've tried for days, Desventuradas Large Marine Park. And this is super important because it's very, very close to another huge nationally protected area called the Americas Papahanaumokuakea Marine National Monument Park. And this is very, very important because it is a very, very large area. It is totally protected, and therefore there is very little pollution there. And so these organizations that are certified fisheries, when they fish from here, then you know the quality of the fish is great, and therefore the quality of the oil that you're going to get is going to really benefit you. And this is why we like the Enzino oil. This is why we like oils from companies that have these stamps on it, because these are the areas that their fish are coming from. And as you can see, these are beautiful pictures of healthy fish and lovely seaweed. These are the sorts of fish you want your oils to be made from. Sardines, anchovies, mackerel, they're very, very oily fish. I'm not going to forget you lovely vegans out there. We have oils for you too. But for the fish eating community, this is the fish that you want to be concentrating on. So we talked about the biological origin. Do you have oil from farmed fish, or do you have them from wild fish? Well, wild fish can roam freely. They can eat all the seaweed, all the algae plants that make up the nourishment and the polyphenols for the fish. Now, this is the first time I've mentioned that word, polyphenols. Remember it. It is so, super important, and it's going to change the lives of many of you. When you have fish that have been farmed, they're normally in these massive nets. They don't see any seaweed. They don't see any algae. They are fed fish pellets. And quite often those fish pellets have GMO products in it. There's where your GMO comes in. And the farmed fish do not basically have, or have very tiny amounts of EPA and DHA, because they are not getting access to the algae and the seaweed. Now, you've probably heard a lot of good things about krill oil. It's very interesting. At present, there's not been enough studies to support some of the amazing claims that are made by the krill oil manufacturers. And having done a bit of research, you might find it interesting to know that if you want to achieve 1.3 grams of EPA and DHA, you're going to need about 18 capsules of krill oil to achieve this. So it's not particularly economical, nor is it convenient, and a lot more studies are needed on this. So for those of you out there, I would stick to your more fish oils or algae oils, as we'll come on to later on. So in the supermarkets, you're going to see lots of canola oils claiming to have DHA, but it's really, really super important that you check the labels that they are GMO free, better still that they are certified GMO free. So you'll see canola oil, you'll see camelina oil. Oils from plants are generally higher in omega-6 and arachidonic acid. They are very pro-inflammatory. So it's really important that if you can bring in other oils into your diet to balance this out, it is better for your health. We talked about the second to last one is processing. The processing of your oils that you're going to be consuming is massively important. So first of all, if you look at the picture in the center, you see the very dark oil. This is the crude oil. Then it goes through a small amount of processing. You have your refined oil, which is the orangey one on the left, and your super quality oil is the one on the right, which is the yellowy one. So why do we need to test and process crude oil? Well, it absolutely tastes disgusting. It's completely inedible for humans, and it is full of impurities and contaminants. So you have to process it. One of the processes that it will go through next for most people is to improve the flavor, and it goes through a deodorization processing, and this means it doesn't taste fishy. And most people don't like taking fish oils because of the fishy flavor. If you have a oil that you're taking that is really fishy, you know that it hasn't gone through a good quality form of processing, because good fish oil shouldn't taste too fishy. The next processing that not all fish oils go through, but as you get better quality fish oils, this is the one you want to be looking for. Certainly, hopefully it'll be on the label that it has gone through something called winterization. And winterization is super important because it removes and eliminates the fatty acids. Now, remember, we had a slide earlier on where you could see that up to 1/3 of the oil in the capsule was saturated fatty acids. We don't want that in there. We certainly want to avoid it if we're trying to lower our cholesterol. And the winterization processing removes the fatty acids, and therefore what you're getting is concentrated EPA and DHA. And this is gold standard of what you should be looking for. You can see on the right here, you've got your crude oil, your the process it goes through: neutralization, bleaching, winterization, distillation, deodorization, and standardization of product. That is the process that you want a good quality oil to go through. And last of all, we have the purity. It's super important. You know you're getting a really good quality product, that it has been cleaned. So you must know that it has been cleared of the contaminants. You want to have the certificate of analysis to know the labeled amounts of EPA and DHA. You want to ensure it is free from synthetic or GMO ingredients. You want to ensure that the plant is a member of the global organization of EPA and DHA, and that does the randomized testing that all of these members have to be a member, have to go through, so you are guaranteed a very, very good product. So I'm going to go through with you a little bit of synergy, because this is super, super important. Not all products are made equal. And sometimes when you have synergy, things work even better. So synergy means when you combine two different things, and when you put them together, they work better than if you'd taken them individually. So in this test that they have, in a study, they have shown that if you combine fish oil with vitamin D, it significantly improves glucose metabolism, insulin response, blood triglycerides, cholesterol levels in pregnant ladies. And it also showed a significant reduction in levels of inflammation, and it increased antioxidant capacity. So this is absolutely, remarkable that by adding a fish oil, your vitamin D is going to work more effectively. And this is why a good, the Eczema oil adds actually vitamin D to it. Here we have the lovely polyphenol word again. So this study shows how polyphenols from extra virgin oil protect you from pesticides and, from fruits and veg. So you might think you eat a fantastic diet, you're not eating rubbish food, but so many foods now have pesticides on them. If you're not eating organic, there's no guarantee these days that your food is clean of these things. And even if it has got organic on it, we know that in some instances they allow pesticides. So it's fabulous to know that the study shows that the polyphenols will help to remove that. Also, extra virgin oil in a study showed that it helped to restore the DHA levels in your brain. So lots of lovely good stuff there. Again, the polyphenols. If you take olive oil with polyphenols, it can protect you against many of your cardiovascular diseases. And this also includes hypertension, coronary heart disease, and it also includes anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effects. So again, there's so much research out there. And I think this is why a lot of the doctors now are taking this more seriously. Us health practitioners who've been around a few decades, we've been banging on about being on omega-3s for years. But the fact that we have this published research is very, very valuable indeed. And this study found that the administration of omega-3s, fatty acids with olive oil compounds, could reverse and prevent fatty liver disease. It's a huge thing these days. There's a lot of fatty liver disease out there. So again, another reason to be taking polyphenols with olive oil. And there is your vegan element there. I'm going to come into more about it in a minute. But it also showed that it prevented metabolic syndrome, diabetes, heart and autoimmune diseases. And we've had lots of anecdotal evidence from people that they have had lots of lovely benefits from fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, osteoarthritis, so many things. So when you combine omega-3s, vitamin D, vitamin E with polyphenols, you get a wealth of benefits, and it's very, very exciting. So let's look at the packaging. Why is this important? Well, we know that fish oils are very susceptible to peroxidation and oxidation, and they turn bad very, very quickly and easily, and particularly when they are exposed to daylight, heat, oxygen. All of these things can upset the balance in it really, really quickly. So there has to be something to protect it. Sometimes a lot of people will use vitamin E. They'll use rosemary extract. These are the traditional ways that they've tried to prevent oils from becoming rancid and harmful for your body. But this study found that polyphenols, again, found that these compounds found in olive oil were much better at it. And they helped to protect against oxidative stress. They reduced the lipid peroxidation, and therefore they helped protect against free radicals attacking unsaturated fatty acid and lipid membranes. Remember, all of your cells are have a lipid membrane, and they have to be soft and squidgy so information can come in and toxins can go out. So here we get to the exciting bit. This is the Eczema balance oils. I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story to lead you into this. The gentleman behind these is the most phenomenal character. His name is Dr. Paul Clayton. He has a PhD in clinical pharmacology. He has advised governments, pharmaceutical industries, food industries. Everybody around the world wants a piece of him because he has brains out here. Is the most extraordinary man, and he is a world expert on fatty acids. And he is the man who's got the research behind this. He had his own health challenge and discovered he had Graves' disease. Long story short, the surgeon said, "I'm really sorry, mate, we've got to cut that out." And he said, "No, I don't think so. I think we can fix this." And he went away to try and discover how he could bring down 90% of the inflammation in his body. And to do that, he had to create correct cell membrane permeability. Long story short, in his vast amount of research, he discovered that there is no such thing in nature as an omega-3 that is not bound by a polyphenol. In other words, the fish is greater than the sum of its parts, as the same is plant oils and olive oil. So when you take the oil out of an olive, it will go rancid and oxidized. When you take the oil out of seeds, it will go rancid and oxidized, and the same with the fish. When you add a high-grade polyphenol to that omega-3, you now stabilize it. And this is what Dr. Clayton discovered. And through his research, he was able to completely resolve his Graves' disease. The surgeon scanned his thyroid, nearly fell off his perch and went, "I've heard of spontaneous remission, but I have never seen it." And then asked, how on earth did he achieve this phenomenal result in repairing his thyroid? And he did it by creating the best oils in the world. So now let me introduce you to these fabulous oils and why they are so different. So I'm taking this oil myself, my whole family is. These oils take a functional approach. It means that they look at the root cause of the disease and then they tackle it. And the root cause of most people's disorders is inflammation. And it is a test-based product. So you have a simple blood test. It shows you where you are at the moment, how out of range you are with your omega-3s. And then you take your oils, which are a personalized dose based on your weight. And then 4 months later, you can take another blood test and they'll show you how much you have improved, which is fabulous. It's very objective. There's facts and data to show you exactly where your health is through the test, so you can't argue with it. And the beautiful thing is, it's incredibly effective. They've done over 540,000 tests now, and they can categorically say that 95% of people are completely out of range. I think I know my stuff, I walk my talk, and even I was out of range, which I was not amused at. I'm happy to say that I'm a lot more in balance now because I've been taking the oils, but it's phenomenal. And the nice thing is it's lovely flavors, so it's easy to take for elderly people because it's in an oil. Children enjoy it because it's nice flavors and it's not yucky and tastes like fish like a lot of these things do. And you can stick it in smoothies and on your salad, and I like mine in mashed up avocado. So I went through a whole criteria of things that's really super important to check when you are deciding on what oil you should take. And well, you can see here, everything that I went through is ticked for the balance oils. So I'm really, really happy to show you all of this. And if I've got 2 pages of everything I've just gone through is ticked. Balance oil will give you all of the things that we've talked about earlier. And that's why the selection criteria is so incredibly important. And this is why there is a wellness revolution that has caught people's attention globally. And I'm not talking just people on the street, you and me. I'm talking your professionals. I'm talking your doctors, your scientists, your surgeons. They are now waking up to the fact that we have something very, very special here. And they are wanting to become very involved. And for me, you can't say, this is a great product, I think you should take it. I want you to say, let's have a look at where you are. Let's take the product and let's show you where you can be in 4 or 5 months' time. And this is why this is a pharmaco-nutrition company. It is not pharmaceutical. It is not nutraceutical. It is test-led, not guess-led. It's super, super important. So the science and the technology behind this is absolutely phenomenal. And the one thing I like about Zinzino is that there is a tremendous amount of science behind this. It is published, it is independent, and that speaks volumes. And when you consider, ironically, after the USA, the statistics show that the UK and Australia are 2 of the most unhealthy countries in the world, it's absolutely shocking. And despite the amount of technology that we have and the internet and all of the wisdom that we can draw upon, people are still hugely challenged with their health, with their eating choices, with their lifestyle. And sadly, they end up with dreaded labels like type diabetes, cancer, weight issues, thyroid, digestion problems, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue. Their list goes on. And what do they all have in common? Inflammation. All of them. You cannot have any of these disorders unless you have chronic inflammation. And if we can change that, we can change the health of millions. And that is what our aim is to do. So why is it necessary to supplement our diets? Oh, there are so many reasons. Our diet is so processed. It's what we eat. You go into a supermarket and the outside 3 aisles of the perimeter, you've got your fresh fruit and veg, you've got your fish, you've got your meats. We won't talk about the third aisle, which is normally alcohol. And those are things that we can make at home, and it's good, wholesome food. I would say pretty much all of the inside aisles in a supermarket are what I would call food entertainment. They're brightly packaged, they're full of E numbers, they're full of nasty fillers and GMOs and horrible stuff like that. The diet we eat is shocking, and most people have even forgotten how to cook, and they use microwaves, and I won't even go there because you can see I'm getting on my orange box. The foods we eat are depleted. The soils are completely depleted. We have intensive farming. There are not enough nutrients in our food to support us. We are now in an industrialized revolution. We have great exposure to toxins from cars, from toxic sources, the chemicals are putting out into the environment. It just goes on. Our bodies were never, ever designed for this. And modern day living means we have much, much higher levels of stress. So something's got to give. And sadly, as a result of it, we have lots of labels if we do not become more discerning in what we put in our mouths and how we look after ourselves. So we are made up of trillions of cells. The most important thing here is that every cell membrane is made up of fatty acids. They are essential, and they are called essential fatty acids because they are essential to us. We cannot make them in the body. We have to take them in through our diet. And an unhealthy cell is a cell that is hard on the outside, and it means that the toxic wastes can't come out. They can't let the inflammation out. The cell membrane is hard, it is impenetrable. And if that's the case, the nutrients can't come in either, or very little can come in. So this is why over time you become very unhealthy, because there's no cell membrane permeability. A healthy cell, it's a bit like if you crack an egg, you've got this wonderful meniscus that's soft and squidgy, so information can come in, toxins can go out, the whole thing is movable, and that's what your cell should resemble, that soft, squidgy outer shell. And if you've got the right balance of omega-3s and omega-6s, the cell membrane will be soft and permeable, and you'll have this fabulous exchange of waste out, information in, no inflammation. This is what we're aiming for. So the results of our testing with the blood tests that we have show that 95% of people are completely in danger from their diet of inflammation in the body. If we eat lots of the stuff on the left, the hamburgers, the chips, the canola oils, we are going to be raising that arachidonic acid, we're going to be raising the omega-6, and we're going to be raising inflammation. If we can concentrate on having fresh foods such as what we have on the left, then our diets and our health and our inflammation is going to be so much better. So an imbalance of omega 6 and 3s, low omega 3s, all of these things contribute to inflammation in the body. And if we don't have enough of the polyphenols in our diet, and we don't have enough omega vitamin D, which is our it's a hormone. They call it a vitamin. It's actually a hormone. It is your immune system. Super, super important. And don't forget that synergistic effect. When we combine vitamin D with polyphenols, then we get a much better synergistic effect. Remember that if you eat farmed fish, you are not getting any EPA and DHA because they don't have access to lovely seaweed and algae. So again, your farmed pellet fish doesn't count. You need to be eating fresh, wild caught fish. And that way you can start to get more of these lovely bioavailable omega-3s that we also desperately need. So which zone do you fall in? Well, you won't know until you do a test. And it's very interesting. I've been working with a lot of health practitioners, and we all think we walk our talk, we do our stuff. And sadly, most of us have fallen very short of where we'd like to be. I came in at 10 to 1. I'm not too proud of that, but when I consider that a lot of my patients come in their 20s and 30s, I don't think I'm doing too badly, but now I know that I'm in a much better place. But most people are 15.1 or above. People who take omega-3 oils regularly, because the oils they're taking, they are not aware, are generally rancid and oxidized. They can't get that conversion. So they'll come in around 7 to 1. And if you are in the very rare range of 5% who are in range, then you'll be at 3 to 1. But as I say, it's only about 5% of people on the planet who are in that range. And I'm going to show you more of that in a second. So this is the test on the left. As of this morning, I checked with the Vitas Labs, which is a completely independent lab who do the tests for Enzino. They have tested 547,942 tests to show where people are at. And the fact that they are independent speaks volumes, because you don't want a manufacturer doing their own testing. So this is lovely. And you can see that 75%, I can't get my words out, 75% of people who don't take omega-3s have a ratio of 15.1 or above. So Enzino offer an independent blood test. You do it right at the beginning before you start the oils, or even if you have started the oils, it doesn't make a huge difference. And then 4 months later, after you've been on the oils for at least 120 days, they offer you a second test to see where you are at. All of the tests are independent. They just there's a barcode on there, there is your weight on there, and that's about it. So, and I think your height is on there as well. So basically it's totally random and anonymous. This is what a test looks like. I thought this would be interesting to show some of you. So what we're looking at here in particular is the omega-6 to omega-3 ratio. So this is a 50-year-old chap. He's based in the UK, played a lot of professional sports, look at this, he's taken nutritional supplements for 30 years. And you can see the wall of red that most people have to start with, which is very, very sad. And he came in at 22.1 to 1 when we want him 3 to 1 on his omega-3 to 6 ratio. And look at this, so that was done in June. In November, he's coming in at 2.2 to 1. We want him at 3 to 1 or below, and he's achieved that in those months, which is just fabulous. And you can see of the wall of red, so many other things has changed. I mean, for me, cell membrane permeability is super, super important. Should be below 4 to 1. He came in at 15.4 to 1. And here, after a few months, he's 4.2 to 1, a dramatic change, and that is absolutely fabulous. I'm going to just show you one more chap. And again, a 51-year-old chap, played a tremendous amount of sports. Again, he's been on nutritional supplements for about 30 years. These are generally professional athletes. His first omega-3 to omega-6 ratio, where are we looking at? Here we go. Came in at 14.4 to 1. That was in May. In August, he was down to 2.2 to 1. And he did another test a few months later, and he came in at 2.2 to 1. So again, really, really super, super changes. Again, like most people, he starts with a wall of red, and over the ensuing months, you can see it gets greener and greener. And this is what we want for everybody. So why is our omega-3 different? It is a totally unique product because it is a combination of the purest omega-3 fish sourced, or omega-3 oil sourced from fish grown in protected areas that eat algae, that eat polyphenols, and therefore when the oil is taken from them, it is then mixed with pre-harvested polyphenols from olives. So the olives are ripened to about 2 months before they'd normally be harvested. This is when their polyphenol content is at its highest and richest. It's then harvested. It's mixed with the omega-3 oils. So now you have a totally stabilized oil, which can now penetrate your cells, bring inflammation down, give you that cell membrane permeability, which is what you want. And currently, to date, there is absolutely no other competition in the world for this. Look at all of these wonderful certificates to show that it's tried, tested, friend of the sea. This is what you want for all of your products. There is a vegan oil. I keep alluding to this. We're going to come on to that very shortly. Here you have your health benefits. With trading standards, you're not allowed to imply any form of benefit at all, but we are allowed to say that oils, the omega-3 oils, promote normal brain function, normal heart function, and normal immune function. You've seen the phenomenal published data that I showed you earlier that is published that shows all of this. And we want you to have the best health, so you have a normal functioning immune system. And this is paramount to everybody's health, particularly in these really, really stressed times that we all live in, particularly when life throws you a curveball. This is incredible. I mentioned trading standards. The European Food Safety Authority in their guidelines has said, we can say all of these fabulous things. This is absolutely extraordinary because most people are not allowed to make claims, but we are allowed to make these claims about this product, which is absolutely fabulous. I'm not going to go through all of them because we would be here all day. But I mean, I just come back to the fact that omega-3s are called essential fatty acids because we are not able to take them. We don't create them in the body. Therefore, if you can have something that you can take that you know is going to give them, then you know that you're going to enjoy all of these fabulous health benefits. And lastly, you know, your brain requires fats to function. Our babies, when they're in the womb, basically hoover up all the mother's omega-3 oils for fetal development. And what happens then is in your third trimester, a lot of women will go, I've got baby brain, I've got brain fog. And that's because they don't have enough oils on board. And then basically when they go on and have their child, postnatal depression will, for some people, set in because they don't have enough of these essential fatty acids on board. And we can avoid all of that by taking these very special oils on board for the fabulous development of the fetus, fabulous health of our mothers. And bottom line, you need these oils from conception to your last breath if you want to enjoy fabulous, fabulous health. So it's so easy to take a test. Let me explain to you how it works. It's super simple. You can take the test in the privacy of your own home. You can do it with a practitioner in a clinic, such as myself, if you want to. The test is simple. It is a blood prick test. And then you spill some blood onto sort of like a piece of blotting paper. You send it off to the lab, and within about 20 days, you will get your test back again. And the test comes back on a very interactive site. So it explains to you what each of the parameters means, where you need to improve, where you've got the thumbs up. And it's super easy. You can choose what flavor of oils you'd like to take. And it's very interesting. I haven't quite got to my 4-month mark, but I know my health has hugely improved since I've been on it. So I haven't quite done my second test yet. But what I do know is I'm just shy of 58. I was beginning to wake up in the mornings with my finger joints going, hello, and the same with my knees, and that's all completely gone. And we've got lovely, lovely anecdotal reports from many of our patients saying their symptoms of chronic fatigue, arthritis, rheumatism, fibromyalgia, Hashimoto's, remember Dr. Paul Clayton, Graves' disease, all of these things they are noticing lovely differences with. So, you know, a very good reason to plunge in, take a test, and try the oil out. I wanted to show you this image just to show you what's involved with the test. It's super easy. You prick your finger. You can see these 2 little dots here. You drop some blood onto those. There's your barcode. You tear this off so that you keep that side, slip it in the envelope here, and then it goes in the post off to Vitas Labs for your test results. So these are the lovely oils, and there are, the vegan oil is the top one on the left here. So this is made with algae and seaweed oils, and it means that, you know, we are respectful of the people in the vegan community. We want them to have everything that they need. And what is amusing to me, I'm a girl that is not vegan. But Dr. Paul Clayton, when he talks about his vegan oil, and he does this wonderful presentation, I promise you, I wanted to be vegan by the end of it. He talks so passionately about sustaining the earth and all of the wonderful things he does. And, you know, we hope that there'll be a lot more people taking on the vegan oil because it is fabulous. For people who've got problems with their gallbladder and with taking oils on, or they don't have a gallbladder, they have a fabulous product called Aqua X. And the Aqua X is water soluble. It's patented, so you can take the oil on board and it doesn't upset you. And that's really lovely. It's great for children too if they don't like that, you know, that oil taste. So we just mix it with water. It tastes delicious. It's like lemon, and that goes down very well. And then you have your other oils at the bottom here. So you have grapefruit, lemon and lime, orange, lemon and mint, and vanilla flavor. So again, lovely flavors of oil, all promoting your health. And it's very, very easy, all giving you the essential fatty acids that you need in your diet. They have a few other products. The xenobiotic was produced, when you take the oils on board, they go everywhere in the body apart from the large intestine. And this is made up of 4 resistant starches so that it feeds the good bacteria so they can crowd out the bad bacteria. And they then will create more butyrate. And the butyrate is going to bring down the inflammation in the large bowel. And when you combine the two, you get a really good opportunity of bringing down a great deal more inflammation in the body. As I mentioned earlier, people are very focused on their immune systems today. They have to be because of the fact that our soils are so depleted. And indeed, if you wanted to have the correct amount of essential vitamins and minerals, of which there are 23 of them, you would need to eat about 4,000 to 7,000 calories a day of our current food. I mean, you couldn't do that. It's an impossibility. So there's wonderful products being made to give you those 23 vitamins and minerals. It's got the purified 1 to 3, 1 to 6 beta glucans derived from baker's yeast. So you've got that wonderful protection for your immune system as well. So it's a very, very good product. Some people like to combine all 3 of them together. If you're wondering what all of this is going to cost you, they have kits. Zinzino are incredibly generous. So a normal kit that most people would start out with, you would have 2 of your blood tests, which would cost £232. You'd have 2 balance oils, which are 300 ml. They'd last you both 2 months. And you'd have 2 handbag size 100 ml, and they would come to £26. That's a total cost of $328. But Zinzino, being the generous people that they are, they go, no, we're going to discount that for you by 60%. We're going to give it to you for £142. Now, most blood tests cost more than that, and you're getting 2 of them in this package. But because you need to be on this for at least 6 months to get that fabulous cell membrane permeability that starts to emerge at about 120 days. That's why you do your second blood test around the 120-day mark, which is about 4 months. They say you need to have a subscription. It's going to cost you £27 a month for your oils, and we will send you a box of 2 oils bi-monthly. Or if you're going to go all out and go, I want total protection, I want the vitamins, I want good gut health, I want the fabulous oils, they have the health protocol. So you've got your 2 balance tests again, the blood test, which would be £232. You've got your 2 bottles of oil, which is 70, your 2 little oils, which are 26, your extend, which is the vitamins and minerals, which is 50, and your xenobiotic for your fabulous bowel, flora and gut health, which is 54. That would normally come to 430, but no, Zinzino are fabulous. They're going to go, no, we're going to discount that by 51%. They're going to give you that whole lot for £220, and your 6-month subscription, giving you these products, will be £66 a month. So they're very generous. They want you to have the best health possible at the best value that they can possibly give you. And I think it's great. The science behind this is extraordinary. I mentioned the world famous Dr. Paul Clayton. You can see he's got a PhD in clinical pharmacology. He is just extraordinary. I could speak all day about him. He has fabulous lectures on YouTube. I implore you to put his name in and go and listen to him. A wealth of information to be had here. Also on the scientific board, you've got Ola Edie. He's created a number of companies, very, very successful, including the leader Bioactive Food AS. Dr. Angela Rizzo, fabulous expert in biochemistry of lipids. And she combines that with her professor of biochemistry. There's so much that this company has to offer. And not last but least is Dr. Rita Mcstay, and again, a master's degree in clinical nutrition from New York and a PhD in food science. So there's a wealth of knowledge here. It's kind of like you've got more degrees here than a face of a compass, but this is the learned crowd that are behind these fabulous products that you know that you can trust, that I think are phenomenal. And I'm telling everybody about this stuff at the moment. It's game changing. So I mentioned to you that Enzino is incredibly generous. You can get products for free. If you decide you want to become a customer, many people are taken aback rather a lot by their first test results and the wall of red. When they see how out of range they are, they take the oil from wild, they take their second blood test, and then they see, my goodness, I have changed so much, but they can feel it. There's so much that you can start to feel. They then want to talk to all of their friends. So if they share it with, say, 4 friends or family members who subscribe for the same value of product that they have taken on, then they can get their oil for free, which is absolutely super. So they're kind of like spreading the love, which is what we all want. We all live really, really busy lives, and remembering to take our oils is not something always at the forefront of our minds. So they've got this fabulous app called the Balance app that you download it, you put in the time you want to be reminded, and it pops up in the morning and goes, have you taken your Balance oil yet? And you go, no, I'm not in the right place. So you hit snooze. And then 2 or 3 hours later it goes, have you taken your oil yet? And it's great because it keeps reminding you to take your oil, and it keeps you on track. And if you're a really good person and you are able to click yes 365 days, you will get all of your shipping for free for the rest of the time that you are a customer for life for. So, I mean, that's absolutely fantastic. So that has given you an enormous amount of information over what you should be looking for your labels, what you should be looking for in your oil. I hope I've introduced you to a fabulous oil that you would all like to try. I've left you my details on there, so if you would like to contact me and ask me any questions privately, you can. I'm going to, I promised you that I would draw somebody out to be a winner of a blood test. And some of you have been very sweet and stayed with me all the way through this. So here is my bowl, and I've got all of the lovely listeners in here. So thank you for staying with me to the end of this. So I'm going to draw one person out now to be the winner. And it is Catherine Newman. So Catherine, I'm going to stop sharing the screen now. And if you would like to, there we go. Let us know your details, then I can send a blood test to you. Does anybody have any questions at all? I can see we have a few people with us still. If you would like to put them in the chat box. Okay, so I think that is about it. I think looks like everybody's, we have got a hand up here. Let's see what this hand up is saying. Vitamin C is also very, very important. Yes, we encourage lots of people to take vitamin C. Its antioxidant capacity is fabulous. Yes, it should be a major part of everybody's diet. I would not dismiss that at all. Any other questions that we have here? Aha, thank you for your comment, Lisa. That's lovely that you've been taking the oil for a while and you're already feeling much better. Yes, some people do notice a difference with the oils very, very quickly. Do you still need to use supplements in addition to the oils? Yes, I would recommend everybody takes, you can't get all of your nutrition from just the oils. The oils are about cell membrane permeability. They're about bringing the inflammation down in your body. But yes, you absolutely do need other nutrients, which is why the Extend product is there. You need your vitamins and your minerals. I encourage all of my clients to take magnesium, zinc, vitamin C as absolute staples. You're going to get your vitamin D in your product with the balance, or some people choose to take more on top of that. That is your choice. But there's nothing, you can't just rely on the oils. You do need to have a very healthy diet. You need to take exercise. Unfortunately, we can't take a pill or an oil and it does everything. But my goodness, this oil changes the lives of so many people. And this is why I'm very excited to share it with all of my colleagues. And everything that I find out, I share with people. I have done it for years. And the science behind this is totally conclusive. You can't argue with it. And that's why we have so many brilliant doctors, scientists, and practitioners leaping on board, wanting to share it with their patients. So if there are any practitioners who are listening who would like to know more, please, please do get in touch with me. Will it improve eczema? Oh my goodness, I have a story for you. I had a young lad who came to see me about 3 or 4 months ago, 19, fairly suicidal, was covered from head to toe in eczema and psoriasis. He'd been like it all of his life and was just saying, I can't go on living like this. Money was an issue. We just put him on the balance soil. We just put him on the xenobiotic. I'm happy to tell you, it's about 3.5 months he's been on it. His legs are completely healed. His arms are completely healed. He's got nothing on his face. His torso is beginning to heal and he is getting his life back. He's now got a new job. He's working on getting a girlfriend and his life is completely different. So will it help your eczema? Hell yes. We have a lot of patients coming back to us saying that their hair, skin and nails has changed, but yeah, eczema and psoriasis is a horrible thing to live with. And it is inflammation. You guys, you know, this is the bad cases, you radiate heat. And this poor young man was saying, I'm so hot, I'm so itchy. And I said, it's the inflammation in your body. The oil brings that down. You're less radiating heat, therefore you're less inflamed, therefore your skin can heal. It's a no-brainer. Any other questions? Will it help with anxiety in adults and concentration with kids at school? Yes, there is an abundance of research to show that it helps the brain. The DHA is phenomenal for the brain. And when your cells are stuck, then you're rigid in your behavior and you're rigid in the way you express yourself. And as those cell membranes become more soft and pliable, you become more relaxed, the inflammation comes down. Yes, it can help with the anxiety in adults and in children. We also have another phenomenal product called Viva, which is pure saffron, which also helps to do that and works in a completely different way to SSRIs. But the oil, yeah, anxiety, concentration, absolutely. Your brain relies on fatty acids to do its job. So this is good. Oh my goodness, I've got lots of things going on here. Just going through these. Catherine, I'm really pleased you're excited you've got your prize. I'll talk to you a little later. Okay, I think that's a wrap, unless there's any more questions. Thank you, Scott, for supporting me and being my panelist, for lots of questions coming up. Thank you, everybody, for sticking with me this morning and for listening. Lots of new information here. Don't be frightened to get in touch with me and ask me any other questions privately. Thank you, Lisa, for allowing me to do this with your lovely Lyme Bay ladies. I hope they found it useful, and I look forward to speaking to many of you all again soon. So with that, love and blessings to you all. Keep up with the exercise and health, and let's see many of you getting on these oils. Take care, and thank you again for this morning. Bye-bye.